This is the Investor Connect podcast program. I'm Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of this show in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, family offices, private equity, and many other investors for early stage and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Connect. Today I'm here with Conacel of BootstrapBay. Christina, thank you for joining us.
Hello, Hal. Thank you for inviting me.
Great. So what was your background before joining BootstrapBay? What did you do before this?
I started working as a freelancer while I was studying for my master's degree. I started working with some clients that were very entrepreneurial. They were building their own products. And they really changed my view regarding how new products get to market. It felt like anyone with a laptop could do something to impact the life of someone on the other side of the world. And I really liked that perspective, and I wanted to try to do it myself. So I started to divide my time between working for clients and starting my own project with a colleague from college. Since I mainly focused on front-end development, and I was very keen and very passionate about a lot of open source projects like Bootstrap that were available online, I started to work on top of them and started to release open source projects of my own. We started to put them together, these bits of code that were open source in kits, and release them for developers. That's how we started creativeteam.com. And they were very well received. And it didn't take long before we started to release paid products too that had a lot more features. Those sold, so we reached the point of sustainability. We didn't have to take on client projects anymore. We moved full time to developing our own store. We did this for about 5 years, and I went from front-end development to also doing back-end development and creating projects, managing resources, accounting, anything that would arise in our business. I think I could say we reached a point where we were successful, at least for the standards in Romania. And I felt the need to take things a step further and create a marketplace that would connect multiple stores with Bootstrap users. And that is how we got to BootstrapBay, which was acquired by Creative Team, and now it's managed by me.
Oh, great. So you deal with the marketplace in this technology area. What's your advice for investors who want to invest in this space? What do you tell them to do before they write that check?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience with investment. All my projects have been bootstrapped. So like I said, I did client work to support the development of my own projects. And if it was necessary, I also used my personal finance. Now I am more open to investment because I think it can fuel the growth much better for a market store. I think that people investing in this space should get familiar with the technologies that developers are using and how they are using it, and try to find stores that are keeping up with the trends. Front-end frameworks like Angular, React, and Vue are gaining a lot of momentum, and it is hard to find a team that's not using them. And there is still a lot of space in these markets for growth, and a lot could be fueled by investment. And I think the startups that are willing to adapt are the most valuable. So seeing startups that change the technology and try to integrate new ones when they appear. I think it's fairly easy to assess the work of a theme shop or marketplace through their online reviews. Because even if something is not very popular at the moment, if they have a very high rating and people that bought their products are very passionate about them, that's a good sign.
How often are new technologies coming onto the market space? If I learned a set of technologies, how long will that last before the next generation comes in and I should learn the new ones? Is that every quarter, every year, every 5 years?
I would say somewhere around 1 and 5 years. So there is generally a new technology that becomes more relevant or more popular, like 2 or 3 years. Right now, I think there's a search for React. A couple of years ago, it was Angular. Vue is taking up a lot of space. Yeah, I would say 2 to 3 years. It depends a lot on the industry leaders. So that's where the trends start. Bootstrap was developed at Twitter, Angular at Google, React at Facebook. So when they put the time and effort to develop a new tool that is very good and useful, and they develop it because they feel the need for it, that's when a trend is set, so to speak, and a lot of people adopt it and see a positive change.
Great. Well, let's talk about the sector itself and how the industry is evolving. Is it growing and how many companies are engaged with it? How big is this industry you're in at this point?
Well, I think it's pretty big and it's growing because the demand for websites has accelerated over the years. And taking the challenge with the coronavirus right now, we can see how much work can be done online and how many processes can be switched to online. And I think people are more and more open to this and see the benefit of switching online. There has been a lot of new technologies in the last decade. So I think it's also easier and easier to develop a website. There are a lot of content management systems like WordPress and Magento that are available to anyone, and you can get started without any code knowledge. And there are a lot of ways to go when you're trying to develop. So you can go from something low code to having one freelancer or a team of developers. I mean, regardless of your development needs, you can find a way to get it done. And since there is demand for this, there's also demand for themes and templates where we are situated. So I think the demand will stay high in the next years.
In what direction is the technology moving? Is it moving to open source? Is it moving to merging with other technologies? Or what is the key trends on the technology front?
Well, I think there's so much happening. I mean, you could see a lot of surge in open source, and I personally use a lot of projects that are open source. But you can also see surges in enterprise software to keep up with this trend, a big movement to move towards the cloud. So I think you can see growth in all sectors, regardless if you are a small company or if you're an enterprise. There are products that are being specifically created for your needs. And I think that's great.
So what are the challenges in starting a business in this sector? What issues do you face in getting the marketplace up and running, for example?
Well, I think there are multiple challenges. First, you need your product to be very good because it will be used by technical people and they can spot something faulty. And if you release a bad product and you get bad reviews, you'll get a lot of support tickets and it will basically bury the team. So if you are just learning a new technology or you don't know the industry best practices, it's better if you start with them and try to excel at them and then create something for others. And once you have this excellence of creating products, you have to find a way to differentiate from the competition. And one way is to have a very good design, or you can have a team that is extremely customizable. You have to find your niche, what you are best at.
So you talked about creating a marketplace. So I guess that puts BootstrapBay as the market maker where you're putting two groups together. What else do you guys do there?
We also create our own products. So we release open source and paid products of our own. And we had a lot of time investment in our blog and tutorials. We created a series of tutorials called 14 Days of Bootstrap, where we are trying to get people acquainted with the technology and have a little challenge for every day for 14 days so you can get up and running with this. So we are trying to reach new people that are just beginning with Bootstrap and want to figure out how to use it. And just the logistics mainly, handling client support, business support, split payments, always reaching out to new affiliates, creating content. So that's basically it. It adds up in the end.
And so what's the next step for BootstrapBay? Where do you go from here?
Well, we're trying to be a niche marketplace. And so we're trying to be very focused on Bootstrap and new technologies. We try to offer the best possible quality. So we have a pretty tight review process. And we try to offer the same-day support for clients and authors so they can be sure that if they buy something from us, they will receive something high quality. And if it's not for them, they can refund. They can get a refund. So we are trying to grow in this niche and be respectable and trusted by clients and authors.
Great. Well, in the last few minutes that we have here, what else should we cover that we haven't?
Well, I think one thing that I am passionate about and I would like to spread is that it's very easy to get into web development. The path to learning how to create websites is pretty straightforward. There are a lot of tutorials and resources online. So if you feel attracted towards programming, web development is a great place to start. And I would like to make it more clear for people that regard programming like something with zeros and ones and complicated instructions, that it's not like that. It's very easy to start to create something and it's very rewarding to see it live. So if you feel inclined to do it, just give it a try and see how it goes.
Very good. Well, thank you for taking time to join us today. How best for listeners to get back in touch with you?
You can send me an email at contact@BootstrapBay.com, and you can also find me on Twitter and LinkedIn if you search for my name. I would love to get in touch with more people interested in this field, so hit me up.
Great. We'll put those in the show notes. I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope to have you back for a follow-up soon.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org.
Alti Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early-stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for the basis of investment decisions.